Hey guys, welcome back to InsightJunky, and first of all I'd like to apologize for the lack of uploads over the past 1 month. I actually got a little bit burnt out on making videos and animating. I will experiment making different kinds of content, but for those of you who have been watching and supporting me from the start, do leave a little comment down below just to let me know that you've been here from the start, and I'll be sure to reply to it. And I'm really thankful for all of you who have been watching me from the beginning. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor from the year 161 to 180 AD. Among Roman emperors, he has been called the philosopher. He was a practitioner of Stoicism, which basically means complete control of your emotions. Now, the interesting thing is that throughout his life, he used to keep a journal and would try to figure out different ways to understand life. This was a journal that he only kept for himself and was never intended to show to the public. However, many years after his death, people found his journal, and the writings in it were so profound that we now get to see how his mind worked in his book called Meditations. Meditations is a significant source of modern understanding of ancient Stoic philosophy. Meditations is considered by many commentators to be one of the greatest works of philosophy. And now this book is divided into 12 parts, and this is also one of the most dense books that I've ever read. So it's not possible for me to cover all the aspects that Marcus talks about in the book. So in this video, I will cover 5 of the most profound lessons that I got from this book. Number 1 is don't judge people. Marcus Aurelius, being a Roman emperor, met all kinds of people. He had many enemies, and it was normal in those days for there to be a death plot against him. However, in spite of this harsh reality, Marcus always stressed the fact that we should not judge people for who they are. He says that indeed we will meet some terrible people in our life, but we all have faults, so what gives us the right to be angry at them? Marcus says that we all come from the divine, so both good and evil are part of the same whole. So since we are all connected to each other through this common thread, why should we hate each other? From reading this part of the book, what I understood was that Marcus always wants us to pay attention to the nature of people and our surroundings without any judgment as to whether they are good or bad. For example, let's say there's a kid who bullied you in class. Now it's very easy for us to judge that bully and say that he is the worst kind of child. But had we looked a little deeper, we might have seen that every night his father came home drunk and beat the kid, and that kid is just doing what his father taught him to do. Now this doesn't mean that we need to tolerate these people or bow down to them or not stand up to them. It just means that remembering the human nature and realizing that we all come from the same source stops your heart from being consumed with anger for other people, and it gives you a better chance of living a fulfilling life. Freedom is basically the control of our minds. The second point is to appreciate the little things. Marcus tells us to be mindful of the little things like the cracks in the loaf of a bread, the texture of leaves, the expression of wild animals, everything we see around us in nature. Marcus says that a man who appreciates nature in all of its forms. You don't appreciate the sun without the rain. You cannot appreciate the cute faces of a dog or a cat without appreciating the way a snake gracefully moves across the grass. Being mindful of our surroundings and developing a sense of appreciation for everything there is what keeps us grounded in reality. The third point is your mind is your biggest asset. Marcus tells us that we always find solitude in our own minds. If our minds are serene, we will find peace and happiness. He stresses on the importance of keeping your thoughts pure throughout the book. Monitor your thoughts always and see if they are peaceful and aligned with your morals and values. If you're not in control of your mind, you're no different than a wild animal responding to its environment. Our consciousness, the ability to choose the thoughts we think, is our biggest asset that we need to keep cultivating throughout our lives. Whatever you think in your inner world is what is reflected in your outer world. If you're an angry and pessimistic person who believes that all people are bad, then in all your life you're going to find bad people. You need to learn how to control your emotions. Whenever anything happens that triggers certain emotions inside you, instead of reacting and acting out, ask yourself, why did that event make you feel a certain way? Ask yourself if it's valid for you to react in that situation, or if it's better to let it go and move on. Marcus tells us that we should not be affected by what other people think of us. He says that no matter how good of a person you are, someone, somewhere will have something bad to say about you. I mean, I've seen this with my channel as well. I make videos sharing knowledge absolutely for free, and yet I still get abusive comments about my accent or about a random number of things from people who have nothing better to do with their lives. So Marcus advises us not to let these people affect our lives in any way. The fourth point is to do the work. Every morning, get up and do your work. Don't complain about how hard life is, just do the work. Marcus says that we should do what is good for society and do things even if other people don't recognize us for it. There are so many people in this world who only do good things when they're in public just so other people think highly of them. That doesn't make them good. We should do good things even if no one is looking at us. Good things done in private are still good things. And the last point is to keep your ego in check. When you read this book, you quickly realize that Marcus Aurelius has no ego about who he is. When you look around you nowadays, you see a lot of people who get a little famous or make a little bit of money and they start having this ego about who they are. Marcus always reminds us that it doesn't matter if you're an emperor or a pauper. At the end of the day, we all face the same fate of turning into dust. So don't get attached to your worldly achievements, be good to others, and do your work diligently. So to summarize, don't judge people, appreciate the little things. Your mind is your greatest asset, do the work, and keep your ego in check. Honestly guys, it blows my mind how much wisdom there is in this book. I always keep this book with me and I flip to any page and read one paragraph and it is pure gold. I highly recommend this book. You don't have to read it all at once, you can do it at your own pace. I'll leave a link to the book in the description below. That's all for this video. If you liked the video and you learned something new from it, then please click the like button, it helps the algorithm. Recommend this video to other people. If you want to watch more of these videos and you haven't already, please consider subscribing and clicking the bell icon so you don't miss any of my videos. That's all for now and thanks for watching.